All right, all right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you're here waiting, we're going to let some people flow in. Good morning, Chicky. Come on in. Don't just lurk in the background. Come in, say hello. Morning, John. Morning, Jimmy. From Indonesia. Wow. Got some late session news, but I'll tell you, the charts have been setting up. Trades are getting a little bit better. The setups are getting a lot better. We had a few weeks where the market was in consolidation, and then it has been moving very nicely lately. A lot more clean. I had set it way back. Things are starting to see a little bit. They're starting to seem a little bit more normal. The timings. The charts look normal. They always will. But the time of day that things move has been strange, and things seem to have shifted and corrected. And we're getting a lot more New York session setups. It's nice. RD, good morning. Nelly, good morning. Heck yeah. Gonna be a good day. Gonna be a good stream. We've got late news, 10 o'clock. The Jolts job opening for Mozambique. Very nice. AJ. All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. I hope you are doing well. Back for another stream. All right, just a reminder before we continue on. This is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education, informational purposes only, without any express or implied warranty of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please pause this stream, read through this. That way you know. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. And we're here for education. And hopefully, so that we can all trade together, and it gives everybody an avenue of keeping calm, maybe staying away from bad behaviors, and over time, coming to the streams every single day, hopefully seeing that improvement that you've been looking for in your trading. All right, Joanne, some old vid sound or you rambling? I'm not sure what that means, Joanne. But anyways, let's go into the NASDAQ. We've got 3 days of breakouts. 3 days of longs being triggered into the market. All right, we talked about this yesterday. They made the low on Tuesday of last week. I know that they've done this because it put in this low. It broke the previous day's low, and then that is the point where it started. We got a first green day, and then they continued to go higher. So similar to like gold, right? We've had gold have this kind of rollover template here. If you look at gold, they've gone up. All right, they put in the low, they've gone up, they put the left side of the wall in, they put the roof in, and then we get the right side of the wall. So we've kind of gone up and built the little house here, and they've come back to where that move began. Now, this is a very clean template. It's not always going to be this nice. And I don't know if it'll be this nice here, but this is what I'm prepping for. This is what I'm looking for. So I like to put those up there just so that I'm aware if that template starts to show up. Okay, Wednesday, day one breakouts to the upside. Friday, day two breakouts. Monday, yesterday, day three breakouts. Now, this is not day three breakouts within the week. However, we are going up. I know market go up because market break out higher. All right. So that being said, what kind of templates could I be looking for? What kind of setups could I be looking for? That's the most important thing. I'm looking for a setup. Now, the thing with that is we have 3 days of longs in the market, which means the market has just been going up. And we've broken out again today. So with 3 days of long, looking for a reversal setup. 3 days of longs. I am not looking to take the trend trade. I am not necessarily going to take the reversal setup because there might not be one. But that is what I am going to look for. Okay, so we've got 3 peaks outside of a previous day's high, or 3 pushes outside, 1, 2, and 3. However, I do not think, let's see. Yeah, I do not think this is really broken down. We've just made 3 peaks and basically just a rectangular consolidation. And in fact, this wasn't even the high because all of this movement back down, this pullback here, was all on the inside of this bar's high and low, which means I cannot use this as a valid pullback. I have 2 bars pulling back outside of this bar, so I am allowed to validate this as a high. And then from that, they have not gone any higher, so I would need to look back down over here to figure. So all I have is a high in place. My low in place is probably going to be near or towards the low of the day. So I really need to see this level broken. Now, this could continue to just trend higher. Notice we've got a high in place. We've got the top of the box potentially becoming the bottom of a box. And the market may continue to just expand and push higher. Which I more than likely will not take. Because that's just not the setup that I'm looking for. All right, I'm going to go to US 30 and take a look, see if there's any differences, see if there's anything. Okay, so there are definitely some differences. All of you should be ferociously typing on your keyboard a signal day that immediately popped into your head the moment you saw this chart. All right. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Wednesday of last week, we had a breakout day. Tuesday of last week, we triggered the previous day's low. Heck yeah, Mustang. All right, so we got a breakout here. Then we got an inside bar. So I'm just going to label this inside bar. I think they've already hit both sides of the range, so it's actually not going to really matter that much. All right, we've hit one side of the inside bar, triggering shorts. We went back and hit the high, stopping out shorts, triggering long breakout traders into the market. So a bit of a low, a bit of a high in place. And then yesterday, on Monday, we've got a first red day. That apparently is not going to go up on my screen. There we go. First red day. We have a day that has opened, tempted to go higher. In fact, this was a gap up. Tempted to go higher. And then closed under not only the open for the day, but also the previous day's close, which is an additive. That is good. Now, with that being said, they triggered the low on Friday. Then they pump it. First red day. And then now we come to today. Now, does that mean that it's going down today? No. We are still in an up moving market. We've been breaking out and going higher. So, what I need to do is develop a thesis and wait and see if it plays out. So I'm going to draw this here. This is where the pump has began. This was the beginning of the move. They triggered the previous day's low and ramped it up. Then we get a first red day. And then that comes and leads us to today, which I need to then look at the price action and the price movements from today to determine, are we getting a first red day trap in an up, or basically in an up moving market? Is this a down closed bar in an up moving market? Are we going to squeeze from either this level here or this level here? I would possibly even be willing to take that, but I would really prefer or rather the first red day play out. Okay, just because that is the setup that I'm the most used to taking. And it does seem to make a bit of sense. Okay, so we had a high in place. I know that because this is the highest close in the move. And we had 2 bars closing outside of this bar's low. which signals to me that this is a high in place for the day. They pulled back. They even broke the high, which tells me that the lowest place that they pulled back to, which is right here, is the swing low that I need to be paying attention to. And this is now a lower low. There we go. And here we go. All right, so we've got a lower low in place. They've pumped it back up. And then that is where we are at. 9:26 in the morning. We have a lower low and a pump up. Even this little 1, 2, 3 here. And then you can kind of see it where the 1, 2, 3 engulfment breakout fake out bar does not let out P2. Immediately takes it away and continues to go lower. So we do have evidence of shorts being trapped as of right now. So we will see. We'll see if we can flip this daily open. All right, I like this. Also, looking horizontally, we got something like this. Previous day's high acting as resistance, essentially. We've got a bit of a 3 peaks here. All right, I like this. US 30 looking a little bit better, I think, than the NASDAQ just because it's actually doing things that I would need to see. Going to gold, we've got 3 minutes to the open, so I should really skedaddle. We've got breakout day 1 from Thursday, breakout day 2 Friday, breakout day 3 on Monday. Do we actually have a higher high? That's the question. We also broke out yesterday, which means I do not just assume that it will go back up today. I will project that level across just like I've done. Look horizontally. Get this back up here like this so I can label. We've pumped it back up because this does not have to go up. I just want to point that out. This could just be a trend trade. We might be in a trending week. They popped it back up. If it breaks back down, great. 2, 3, or maybe even breakout 1, 2, 3. Maybe we can say volume potentially trapped under P2. So we've got evidence of shorts being trapped. I would need to see this break down. So as of right now, we're making higher highs and higher lows on the day, but it could just be a pullback in the down move since there's no higher high in place. Yeah, it does seem like maybe it's in breakout. Maybe this is the easier trade for the day. It could be. It could be. US 30 and gold, I like them both. We'll go to the Rust. Well, that's very different from every other index that we've seen. Okay, Friday, very strong peak formation down low. Has market been going up? Kind of. More consolidated, I think, than anything. Peak formation low. Monday, we've got a peak formation high and a first red. But kind of not really, because I don't even think we didn't trigger previous week's high. We're still on the inside. We're going to go on. Oil. Let's see here. Previous week's high. Yeah, we triggered that yesterday. So we've triggered a previous week's level on Monday. That's good. Also, breakout. We closed in breakout yesterday. They triggered the high today. They pulled back, made a higher low, and continued to go higher. And they've broken out now. So the only question that I would need to ask myself is the breakout going to succeed or is it going to fail? Breakout day 1 in this direction. Higher high, pullback, higher high. Is the top of the box going to become the bottom? But I really think that I need to pay attention to US 30 and gold. All right. Okay, US 30 off the open. Initial drive going in the direction that we kind of were looking for. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I've seen first 2.5 minutes, bar goes down. The last 2.5 minutes, bar go up. So we'll see. Gold. Okay, gold. Little 3 push pattern up here. I want to see the breakout kind of fail here. I think gold and US 30 are both very interesting to me. I need to get rid of some of these lines on oil, though, because that is... There we go. All right, how's everybody doing? Did everybody kind of going through their charts? Did they have something similar today before me going through this analysis? For you all to really get the most out of these live streams, I would highly suggest, trying to do as much on your own as possible. Marking up the chart, coming up with thesis each day, prior to me coming into the live stream. And then just doing a little compare and contrast. Obviously, I won't be doing these live streams for an eternity. So if you all are capable of kind of doing that on your own, you'll be able to go forward and do great things, hopefully. Let's see. Are you waiting for after the news? There's a very good chance that the answer to that question is yes. Very good chance that the answer to that question is yes. Right now, all I'm waiting for is this 5-minute bar to close. And I've got US 30 up on my other screen. I've got a 1-minute chart up. Yeah, we might get a little back and forth here. What I don't want to do is sometimes there are really good trades before the news. But I tell you what, when I get sucked into something because it looks decent before the news and then they immediately put it back in consolidation and I immediately can tell that I just got trapped. That is one of the most frustrating things because I consciously did it with good intentions. The setup was there. Everything was great. But I also know better. Like the before the news, it doesn't matter how good the trade looks. It does not matter how good the setup looks. a lot of times the market will give you a very strong middle finger because it's basically just waiting for that news event to take place. So it's kind of trying to go up, it's kind of trying to go down, it's collecting orders, and then whenever the news comes out, it'll shift. Tony, I highly disagree with that statement. I don't think that people enter trades because they have an edge. I think that people enter trades because, or at least in the beginning, in the early stages of, and I would even say the middle stages too, like getting towards the late stages, people are still entering into trades based off of what they think is going to happen or what they feel like could happen. They've got the futuristic glasses on. Yeah, it could be greed. It's moving in a certain way, and you want to catch the move, so you just get in. No real process for entry. No real process or setups to look for. And then when you do have setups, because I've been there too, I've done this. The reason I can say these things is because I know, because I've done them. Even when I had setups, it was like, okay, I've got these trading setups. But that looks like it's going to go. So then you revert back to your old behavior again. And it takes a very long time to stop doing that, almost 100% of the time. And it is hard. It's just a constant battle of yourself. And that's why I hope that these live streams are helping, because even if you don't learn anything about, which I hope that I talk about the actual setups enough. I hope that I talk about my entry criteria enough. But even if you didn't learn a single thing about that, I would hope that you can at least just sit here and watch me not do a darn thing for, over an hour sometimes. And if that's the value that you take from this, then I think that it's worth it. People have they'll ask me about a trade, and they'll send me their charts, and they'll have all their entries on there, and their exits and their re-entries, and it'll be like 50 trades in the course of 30 minutes. Not literally 50 trades, but, maybe in excess of 10. Over 10 trades or something like that. It's interesting. Because my first thought when I see that, any question that they have, and I need to ask some questions myself. What setup are you taking? And almost every single time when I ask that question, when I see that, it's blank stare. I get a blank stare. And that's okay, because it's a very easy, fixable thing. Good morning, Paulie. Oh, I got you. Got you. Yeah, Tony. So I like using this analogy. So Tony said it's easy for someone to adopt a strategy, win 3 trades or more, but then they lose and they no longer trust the strategy. And I don't really think of whatever your style of trading is. I don't really consider it to be like, because it's hard to explain. Like, trading is trading, whether that's with this strategy or that strategy. It doesn't matter what strategy or system that you have. The rules of the market, or the way that the market moves, or the 3 things that markets do, right? The 3 things that markets do will never change. It doesn't matter what system you have. If you're using Elliott Wave, if you're using Wyckoff, if you're using the 3-day cycle, if you're using smart money, which smart money is heavily pretty much all based. I could go through every single smart money concept and go back to the 30s and 40s and find it in the books. Okay, stuff. Nothing has changed. So it doesn't matter what trading system that you have. The way that the market moves isn't changing. So every time you change a system, let's say that you're trading the turtle system, right? You're trading the turtles. I think it's like the breaks of 52-week highs or something like that. Whatever that trading style is. And then you're like, okay, well, I want to be a day trader. So I'm going to go and find a way of trading, of scalping. And then you start doing that. And you say, well, I don't really like this. So I'm going to go become a swing trader. And I'm going to follow a swing trading system. Every single time that you do that, you become the new kid on the block. If I was a teacher and then I wanted to go be an engineer and I showed up for my first day of work as an engineer, I'm going to have no idea what I'm doing. Even if I've gone to school for it, even if I've done all these things, there's a lot of there's training that needs to be done, practical application that needs to be done. So you're going to be lost for a while. So every time that you change a system, you become that teacher that's just become an engineer or whatever. And you have to relearn everything over again. And then that's the cycle that people get into. I don't like this system. I go to another one. It starts to do okay. And then I'm lost again and I don't know what I'm doing. So I go to a new system and the cycle repeats. And then after doing that a few more times, you probably think, well, trading's stupid. I don't want to do this. And then you quit. And there's the statistic. Anyways, there's my ramble for the day. 15 minutes. I'm only ranting and rambling because there's nothing I can do right now. Getting this close to the news. Although US 30 is very tempting. But 15 minutes to the news, I'd rather just miss the trade. I would rather miss the trade than take this. It feels silly when it pens. I'll just miss it. We'll wait 15 minutes after the news. If it looks like it's consolidated and ready for the continuation of the move, I'll look to enter. I'll use the news to help confirm. If that's the trade. We could be doing 3. Yeah, the Russell was going bananas. Very interesting. Okay, I don't really know what to do with oil. I'm going to put the Russell up here. I'm going to watch this bad boy after the news. And we're going to see. We made it back up here. I'm going to project this level across. I want to make sure that we're not just slamming back down into this previous day's high level, which could turn into a breakout level. I want to see that this is turning into, they're working the high. They're working the high. I want to see that this turned into maybe a 3-day setup. Friday peak formation low goes back to the high and fails. If it fails, then we could be seeing a 3-day opportunity or a 3-day setup to go back to the low. Could. Does this work on crypto? Yes. You can use it for crypto. I've never tried for stocks. The market data is a little different looking. But I know there's a lot of people that trade like XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and things like that with this trading style. Oh, darn, Polly. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully see you tomorrow. Gotta give it the old unplug it and plug it back in. You too, Polly. I appreciate that. All right, we're watching paint dry together. I will say, pretty happy not to have entered anything. It's just kind of chopping now. The Russell, I would have had to wait anyways because on the day itself, we're still making higher highs and higher lows. Boom. Closed higher. Closing higher confirms a swing low. Now we have a lower close. So now I can wait. I've got kind of a better idea. There's flat top with ascending lows. And then instead of going vertical to the upside, we start allowing shorts to get out of their positions and make money. And then it tried to go back up and couldn't. And then there was follow through. Beautiful. Ten minutes to the news. I may have missed every trade. They were already pulling away. Yeah, NASDAQ is... It moves so nice sometimes. And gold does too. Gold moves really clean. I would say out of all the indexes, the US 30 is probably my least favorite to trade just because I would say that it's the most consistent to move at strange times over time. It just seems like it wants to move a little bit later. But the NASDAQ is certainly... I'm not going to say it's my favorite. It just moves very consistently at decent times. So when there's a signal on there... Okay, we got 9 minutes to the news. If you're all in here right now, just do me a huge favor. It helps quite a bit with the stream. If you could just hit the like button on the stream. The little thumbs up. That little thumbs up button. Just click it real quick. It helps quite a bit. I do appreciate it. Nvidia's at all-time highs. Yeah. Let's see what GoPro is doing here. Eight minutes to the news. Nikolai, hello. Okay, so they've put in the lower low. They popped it back up. Boom, boom, boom. And then they traded back down to the low and then closed lower. So we're in breakout down, which is good. I appreciate that, Tony. All right. 8 minutes to the news. This gives me some time to get up and do some jumping jacks. I'm going to go get some, not literally. I'm going to go walk around for a second, grab some water. And I'm going to come back for this news so we can hopefully confirm a setup and possibly get a trade. I'm going to come back a couple seconds. Be right back. Oh my gosh, I just said all of those words with no audio. That is garbage. All right. We'll go back over it real quick. So the Russell, peak formation low, peak formation high, first red day. They popped it back up. They've made a lower low on the day, waiting for the news to confirm. Wait, am I still muted? Everybody type 1 if you can hear me. Pretty please, sugar on top. I see. Good deal. Thank you, thank you. All right. US 30, we've gone back. Now, US 30 has triggered previous week's high, which is good. And then we get a first red day, and they've pumped it back up off the low, the previous day's low, and held it up there. Now, they did not trigger the previous day's low at the beginning of the day. I kind of wish, I love it when that happens because that gives me, like gold yesterday, you know, it just gives me a really solid thesis to go off of. The NASDAQ is 3 days of breakouts, no lower low. All we have is possibly a failed breakout now at the high of the day. No lower low though. So I would need to see a lower low before I'd be willing to execute. Both US 30 and the Russell have lower lows. The Russell is not pulling back. The Russell has made a lower low and is just dumping into the earth. So we're going to see. I don't know if it's going to do anything. It's not going to do what I want. I don't know. But we've got 3 minutes to the news. Why is my camera always... Which way do I need to turn this thing? Let's see here. Try and get my big head actually in the frame. There we go. My head is just so massive. I gotta really make sure that camera's aimed properly, or else it won't fit. Okay, 2 minutes to the news. So I do really like how this has reversed so strongly, but just remember, it would have made a lower low and it didn't. Number one. Number two, it just made a higher high with no lower low. Number three, this is a very strong move slamming back down that didn't go anywhere. So what is the chart telling me? Telling me there's still potential, but it hasn't done everything that I need it to do. US 30, what is it telling me? It's taken some time to get down to the low, so maybe it's not a very strong move, or maybe it's not quite ready to go. We've got push one. Look at this. Relative, all right? We've got the drive to the high. All of these bars compare and contrast to this bar, which then completes the pattern. This bar also, I think, broke out of this bar, yeah. So that's the acceleration, push one. And then we go sideways. All these bars get really small. And then we get the explosive P2. And then we get the sideways. And then we get explosive P3 into the low. Not saying that it's going to reverse off of the low. I'm only sitting here trying to gauge and better understand in live time what I think the psychology of the chart currently is. That's all I can do. Look at the levels, see what it's done. My goodness, somebody's mowing their yard out there and it's the loudest lawnmower you've ever heard in your life. Goodness gracious. Okay, there's the news. All right. Well, I was kind of hoping for a little bit more pizzazz off that news. The news didn't have any pizzazz. No umph. No drive. No push. No acceleration. No movement. So this is in consolidation. It's been in consolidation for 6 hours. This is sat in consolidation. So that's really good. That's sarcasm. This is sat in consolidation. It did make this higher high, so that's good. Let's see what it does here. 1 minute chart made a lower low on NASDAQ. 1 minute chart made a lower low on NASDAQ. But I need the 5 to do the same. I don't use structural levels based off the 1 minute chart. It's a little too inaccurate. Too many false breaks. Too many failed breakouts. Thursday, Friday will be fun. Yeah. Yeah, my problem with this is that there was really no pullback. So when are they going to pull back? Are they going to pull back now? Are they going to just keep going? Are we just going to see a series of down closed bars all in a row? Or are they going to actually, it's hard to gauge, when are they going to pull back? When are they going to continue? What I don't want to do is chase price. I don't want to chase this. They've just made this lower low. Really hasn't pulled back much at all. And sometimes there will be a shallow pullback, but on a setup like this, I definitely think it's best if I just wait. It's best if I just wait. I should wait for a pullback, and then if it shows signs of continuation, get in on something like that instead of just look at this big 1, pause, 2, the inside of this bar's range. We're sitting on the inside of this bar's low. We can't get out. 5, 10, 15. We're into 20 minutes now of sitting on the inside of there. Dow pullback? Yeah. Maybe. Okay, so this broke. This made a lower low. A little late in the session, but it did make the lower low. Okay. Mustang. Very nice. I still think that I've not entered anything I am watching the US 30 a little bit more closely right now. But I am going to opt to wait until a little bit closer to this 5-minute bars close. And also, I would like to see, I want to see some selling going on here on the 5. We've been in a 1, 2, 3 back up, and it's all on the inside of this bar's high and low. Okay, watching US 30 very closely. Now, this bar is closed as a down closed bar, but a reminder, this is all on the inside of this bar's range here. So we've closed as a down closed bar, but it's on the inside of this. So we're broken out of this bar's range, but this bar is not exactly super relevant. It is the 1, 2, 3 and the pullback. So we've got P2 possibly right here. So a little bit of evidence, hopefully, that these people are not going to get let out, and then we can go back to follow through, hopefully, back down to the low of the previous day. However, the way that this is pulled back, the way that I described this, 1, 2, 3, all they would have to do is close a bar above this line, and everybody would be stuck. They'd be stuck at the low of the day as well. And 12, so we're almost 15 minutes into the 15 minutes into the hour. We've already had the news. Yeah, I'm still kind of watching gold a little bit. It's just the US 30 was starting to do more of the things that I wanted to see. As far as we've had first red day yesterday. We've got the lower low. We even have a second lower low, which could just be a 2-leg pullback. And then maybe it's going to go up. I don't know. But the setup would be first red day, lower low for the continuation back down through previous day's low. Now, this first red day also has not triggered the previous day's low. So that could be maybe an indication that this is a down closed bar in an up moving market, and it's not really willing to make that lower low. But I'm going to have to wait and see. I've entered in on small size because I'm not very confident in the trade, but it is playing out the way that I would normally have wanted to see. We've got the down closed bar making a lower low. We've pulled back in 3 bars. We've engulfed. I entered in with a 25-point stop, small size, and I just got stopped out. All right. So, P1, P2, P3. Possibly looking at this being the trap. Okay, I had stop above what I believe to be P3, so I said P1, P2, P3. I put a stop right here. But I didn't add into the position, so the loss luckily was still pretty small. Gold closing. Gold above closing price, yeah? Okay, there's the close above this line. Probably trade until around 10:30 today. If nothing else builds or sets up, or I don't have any opportunity for re-entry, I will just go on about the day. Oh gosh, I got to think about my workout today too. What am I doing? Let's see, I got to do squat. And I think actually, I think today's my deadlift day. It is. Today is my deadlift day. Nice. Deadlift day is, I think, probably my favorite because it's the day that I allow myself to eat more food. I eat as much as I want. It's awesome. I squat 3 days. 3 days a week, squat. I just squat at least 3 days a week. And then I also have a day of straight leg deadlift, Romanian deadlift, and then I also work up to a heavy set of 1. So I work my legs a lot within the week. I'll just kind of spread it out. Yeah, I just watched NQ. I went over and switched to a 1-minute chart. I don't like, I'd like to see it follow through. This is the first pullback after the break. If you look at a 1 minute chart, it's all this. It's the manipulation is insane. I guess it did close just a little bit lower, but not by a lot. Look at this. We had a 1 bar range on a 1 minute chart. They've been holding it on the inside of this bar. All of this price movement has been on the inside of this one bar. Market only does 3 things: breakout trend, breakout reverse, or stay in a trading range. In simple words, first red day, market go up, market make lower low, market close below the open. Following day, I look to go short. First green day, market go down, market make higher high and turn into a green day. Next day, I go long. I look to go long. I think that's as simple as I can explain it. Well, so how you enter the next, so now it's not going to be, I'd have to explain it a little bit more deeply. So it's no longer just a basic explanation. There's an entry criteria. There's certain things that need to be seen on the following day to help confirm. Reading the psychology of the chart, all, is accounted for, takes place. I think that's a huge problem. You've not to highlight you or anything, but you've highlighted a very big issue that I see. People are hearing words, but they're not listening a lot of times, I think, to people, because trading's simple. It's just do this, buy low, sell high. But if I went to you and I said, hey, could you explain simply how to rebuild an engine? Some of you might think that's very easy. You might think it's very simple. And it is. It is actually very simple to rebuild an engine. I have a series of parts and a very structured way of going about it. I know the steps that need to be taken. But to some of you, rebuilding an engine seems like the largest, most complicated task on the earth. It just takes time. It takes time. US 30, what are we doing? No sound. Can everybody else hear me? All right, good deal. Thank you. All righty then. I put this pen down here so they work into it. Okay, we've had this P2 and a little pin down into it. Is this evidence that they're trapping shorts? Because remember I said this could be P1, P2, P3. Or maybe this is P1, P2, P3, something like that. They've broken, closed above, and now they're pinning down too. So not letting the shorts back out of their position, and they're pulling higher. Maybe don't want to take the trade. I don't use Fibonacci's. It's just the tool. Okay. Take this tool, do a little double click. Notice how I have it set to expansions. It's basically just an easier way of doing a measured move, all right? Because everything in the market moves essentially in a measured move. All right, we've got a high and a low of a consolidation. It breaks out of that consolidation. A lot of times it'll do some kind of measured move of that consolidation. Okay, whether it be one full expansion, two full expansions, or three. Back in the 30s and 40s, when measured moves and things, you start seeing the explanations of how you're supposed to trade certain chart patterns. And that's what we're talking about here. So you have things like descending triangles, right? You measure first leg to base and from break down, things like that. Or I could just measure the consolidation and get the measured move of that move. I think that makes it a lot easier than having to remember every single one of the patterns to, how to measure it. How are you able to view charts at once? Oh, you just go up here to this little thing here. Layout setup. You can set up your charts however you want. You have to pay for TradingView. If you don't have the free version, you can't do this, but I think this makes it. So one thing I used to struggle with a lot was I would only have one chart up, and then I would just try and flip between everything, which is frustrating and a little bit annoying. So doing it this way is nice because I can just have everything up, and then if I want to just focus in on one thing, I can do this. But I don't have to do that when I'm here trading with you. Oh, I've got my other screen up, focused in on one thing, so I don't have to flip back and forth. Flipping back and forth, yeah, it is tough. I really dislike doing that a lot. So, P1, P2, P3, break and close above. Down close bar, higher low. Down close bar, higher low. That low is higher than this low. Evidence of shorts possibly or potentially being trapped. Yeah, I see NQ as well. I'm just not confident in anything anymore. I wasn't confident in this. It's set up and it started to do, fit the criteria, so I entered in with small size, but I'm just not confident in any of these yet. Discretion-wise, something does not feel right. The time, the pattern. Small moves, yeah. And then this could, this is a descending triangle. It could follow through. We could come down here. Is it actually going to break? Or are we just going to tap and keep going? I don't know. Because this has been in an up move, right? So we have no front side. We're still on the front side of the move. We're also on the front side of the week. Dev, I would just say keep watching the live stream. Because I talk very frequently, take a trade. And throughout, I talk about the psychology of the chart. And that's what helps me enter. Where are people stuck? Where are people caught? Is it completing my entry criteria the way that I expected? I still don't really like NQ. And the reason why is because they made the lower low. They went into consolidation. They held it there for a long period of time. Now they're going to break out. They've opened. If they close this bar down low and then reverse it strongly, they're going to catch everybody off this breakout. Yeah, or you could watch the playlist, Dev. I do have a watch in order from the beginning, or it's watch in order for effective learning. And I've tried to put together a series of videos in order, or somewhat in order. And all of those videos have PDFs that you can download and go and print or put in order, or, you know, make. Takes a lot of work, takes a lot of effort, but the information's there. Hi, Cam. Can you explain on gold why day 2 is today didn't go down? Was gold on level 2? Oh my gosh, gold is definitely, we're down a lot of days. Okay, we breakout day 1, breakout day 2, breakout day 3. Usually breakout day 3. Remember, it's not about direction, it's about the setup. We have 3 days of breakouts. So when we have 3 days of breakouts, what does that tell me to look for? It tells me to look for a higher high. Now, does that mean it's going to go down? No. Sometimes you will have strongly trending weeks, and those are the easy trades. Those are really easy. When you have a trending week like this, great trades. But after a while, you know, you don't want to just keep on assuming that it will go lower. You know, 3 days of breakouts, time to look for the reversal. Will it reverse? I don't know. But if it makes a higher high, I'll be ready. I'll be prepped. So like on the day, we've made a higher high. We pulled back 1 push, 2 push, possibly 3 push. Maybe this is a short squeeze. No, I'm not going to take this because this big blow off move didn't leave me with a higher high to be formed. So on the day, we're making higher highs and higher lows, but it's all on the inside of a high and a low. So we're on the inside. I don't want to trade on the inside. Dev, it was the watch in order for effective learning. That's the playlist name. I'm guessing there's no volume around. Oh, I thought you meant like you couldn't hear me, Shaky. I panicked. You're welcome, Mom. You're welcome. Y'all are fun. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Nelly. I had to I double taked. I was like, oh my goodness, is my mom in here? Like, is it remembering her username or something? That's funny. Thinking about going break even on oil. Tough day 2. Day 2 expands the range, or typically, right? Also, you know, John, good stuff. I think you're probably long on this. I don't know from where. Good catch though, wherever you're at. I'm still watching the US 30 here. I might give it another go. Maybe. I'd really like to see it follow through. Which one was difficult to learn? 3-day setup or 3-session? I think I don't really frequently say like, oh, today was a 3 sessions. Use the 3-day. And then I just look at session scalps, but I think I might look at it slightly different than what you're describing. I think you'd suit a blue polo neck jumper. Tony, I'm not going to lie, I have no idea what that is. And I don't know if that's a compliment or a roast. But either way, thanks. All right, everybody. I have added to my US 30 position via sell stops. They have just came down and slammed into the previous day's low. I am holding for low of day or previous day's low minus 25. I have removed one of my positions and gone to break even. I'm going to get stopped out at break even. I just got stopped out at break even. Oh my goodness. Well played, Cameron. That's good. Yeah. Good stuff, everybody. Heck yeah. That was patience, patience, patience. Not a huge move. I think I got just about 40 points on 2 minis. No, on 1 mini. I take that back. Excuse me. On 1 mini, I took 40. On the other one, I got stopped out at break even. Okay. The lower low, the pop up, the breakdown, the sideways maneuver. This bar here coming down looked really good. And the way that it was doing it looked really good. We were consolidating just above previous day's level. I used this little sideways maneuver here. I use this for an add-in. got some off down here at the previous day's level. So this is the first time they're triggering the previous day's low, which means that we'll probably see some kind of bounce from there, which is why that's why I had my stop so tight. Sometimes it will just break through and go, or break out, pull back, and continue, and where I'd be my stop would be safe. But a lot of times you also get a V bottom reversal on that first retest or that first break. So I brought stops down very aggressively as I was adding in to manage and minimize risk, taking some off. When I took some off, I had stops, pulled down, and then I went to break even. And now it might continue. I don't know, but I don't really care. Patience paid off. Waiting for the right move paid off. Waiting for the right instrument paid off. This is a setup. Low-hanging fruit back down to the low previous day. Now, I would have liked to have seen it. You heard me say I'm going to try and hold for previous day's low minus 25. This is what I was doing. I had previous day's low minus 25 with a take profit in place. Joanne, I'm rooting for you. This could be a 1-bar breakout, fake out. 1-bar breakout. If it flushes this low, the behavior that I would like to see would be an extreme flush where it just everyone gives up. Somebody tried to go long on this, made people hopeful, and then I want to see them get crushed. I want to see their hopes and dreams just evaporate into dust, and they give up, they get liquidated, and then the market follows through down through the low. That's usually how I like to look at these breakout, fake out bars, because that's the behavior that should take place after you get one of those. If it doesn't, then I know that something's wrong. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, Nipsey. Joanne, are you, how you doing? No, I don't legitimately want people to be hurting. I would never really want that. It's to help understand the psychology, feel at certain areas. I don't legitimately want someone to be in pain or their hopes and dreams to be crushed. I just understand that at a certain point in the chart, that is how people feel. What about gold? Gold has been consolidating for over 6 hours, and we're on the inside. We had 3 days short. I was looking for a higher high. Good stuff, Joanne. It's a shame, actually, for me, but it is what it is. I'm still happy with it. It's been a good week so far. It's only Tuesday. Wow. Cool. Yeah, and it's kind of fun, Tony, when you think about it. It's like, it's my psychology versus all of yours. It's mine versus everyone else that's, trying to perform. don't be the one to get caught. I took this as a scalp when I think that I maybe should have. So in my review, I think I'm going to have to say, should I have brought my stops as tight as I did that quickly? Because I've just given up quite a bit. I took 40 points, which is still pretty good, but I wasn't able to take it on size because I got stopped out for the other contract, and I would have probably liked to have added more. Tis what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a great start to the week. Monday, Tuesday. Yesterday on gold, having that beautiful 3-day setup. Okay, we looks exactly like US 30 does today, whatever. Breakout, explosive move. US 30 today getting stopped out on the first attempt. Going for a second attempt. I got stopped out over here. Thinking this was potentially a 1, 2, 3 back up and an engulfment. Got stopped out for 25 points. Breaks down and then goes to follow through, getting back in for 40 points. And then stopped out on second position. Probably or potentially should have held. My initial idea was previous day's low minus 25, and I got stopped out on a 1-minute retracement, a 1-minute pullback, because I brought stops down a little bit too aggressively. No big deal. Still a winning day, just slightly over break even. We'll come back tomorrow and we'll try and do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Time. I'll see you then.